A dreary day in central Ohio. We are dealing with a handful of weather alerts as a huge rainstorm moves through, causing a soggy day out on the streets, the sidewalks, and the roads. And take a look at this large sinkhole growing larger. What caused this mess and the new plan to fix it? Not quite out of the woods yet with the rain. Doup 10 meteorologist Mike Davis is tracking some new developments for us on the radar.
This is a Doppler 10 weather alert.
And we do want to begin 10 TV News at noon with a weather alert. I'm Angela Ann. Flash flood watches and warnings are in effect for much of central Ohio. Let's get right to Mike, who's been busy all morning long in the weather center dealing with all these weather alerts. Mike.
It's been a crazy morning.
Yeah.
I mean, first we had the flooding, we've had the heavy rain, and now going into the afternoon, the wind's going to kick up.
Ooh,
so
nice.
We got a couple of things to take a look at. We'll start with the biggest ones. We've got flood warnings off to the north, a couple of the usual places. The flash flood warnings, fortunately, in southern Ohio are gone, but there are flood warnings in Marion County. That's pretty typical, along the Scioto River, and also in Hancock County up by Findlay on the Blanchard River up there. Southeast Ohio still under a flash flood watch. We haven't had flash flooding, but the potential's there since it's still raining in that area. Meanwhile, here in central Ohio, we're under a flood watch until further notice. These things tend to be a little bit fluid, if you'll pardon the expression, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. Live Doppler 10 radar. Most of the heavy rain has moved off the east, the thunderstorms as well, but as you get just east of town into Licking County, Fairfield County, you've got light showers there, and you've got to go down to the southern part of the state and really cross the border into West Virginia to see the line of thunderstorms that's moving off. So that is gradually kind of quieting down. As we look, you can see it kind of pushing off to the east as we get into the noon hour here. There's still a little bit more to the west, and before too much longer, temperatures are going to begin to fall. Look at this. We had 1.25 inches in the last 48 hours here, 2 3/4 inches down at Cincinnati, and the rain gauge had some problems down at Portsmouth. This afternoon, a little different. The winds are going to kick up. I want you to take a look at this time-lapse picture because this morning the issue was fog. On top of everything else, it just rolled on through the city. 1 minute you can see the skyline, the next minute it's gone. Other changes going into the weekend, you may actually like some of those. I'll have details on that coming up.
All right, Mike, thanks. Well, all this rain is turning a Licking County road into a crumbling concrete mess. Construction crews have been working on this massive sinkhole since midnight. 10 TV's Maureen Cosat takes us to Morse and South York roads where drivers are facing a dangerous situation.
Well, we have new information. Crews on the scene now tell us that it was just a person driving in their car at about 9:30 last night who discovered this sinkhole that has now devoured most of York Road. Now, crews here tell us that they believe it is the rushing stream that runs beneath this road that has actually caused the problem. I can tell you that since our crew got on the scene at about 4:30 this morning, the sinkhole has expanded by at least 4 or 5 feet. It's about 10 feet down, and crews say it could take as long as a month to get all of this mess repaired. Now, this created some other issues because all of that damage and running water took down a tree, which took down a power line. Crews were here today trying to repair that damage, to get that power line repaired. But again, crews here on the scene say they're just now starting to assess this sinkhole, trying to figure out the best way to get all of this debris cleared out of here and get the damage repaired. In the meantime, we can tell you that authorities do have York Road here in Licking County shut down in both directions for about 1.5 miles. So if you live around here, you will certainly want to avoid this area. In Licking County, Maureen Cosat, 10 TV News.
And that is not the only central Ohio road closed because of the storm. OGO is reporting State Route 715 in Coshocton County is shut down in both directions near US 36 because of high water. Now, if you want to see real-time traffic and live cameras, be sure to download our 10 TV app to your tablet or your phone. It is free. New at noon, a man accused of raping a 13-year-old girl at a bus stop is now behind bars on a $2 million bond. Antonio Fillmore appeared in Franklin County Court today to face 2 charges of rape. The 36-year-old man is accused of assaulting the young teen as she walked to her school bus stop on Myrtle Avenue early Tuesday. Police arrested Fillmore at his home yesterday, less than a mile from that initial crime report. Court documents show investigators presented DNA that they say links Fillmore to that rape. And this just into the newsroom. Hilliard police are searching for a man who just robbed a tanning salon. Police are searching for a man in his 20s with a gun right along Fishinger Road. Police say that armed suspect was driving a white van and wearing blue jeans along with a gray sweater. The suspect was last seen heading east towards Dublin Road. In East Columbus, an alert neighbor may have saved a man's life after a shooting early this morning. A woman says she called 911 when she heard gunshots in her neighborhood shortly after midnight. This was on a lane road just south of Livingston Avenue. When police arrived, they found that victim lying on the ground with a gunshot wound to the chest. The victim is expected to survive, and police say they questioned potential suspects, but they have not made any official arrests. Well, some new information now surfacing on the Fort Hood gunman accused of killing 3 soldiers and then himself. Reporter Polo Sandoval has new information about a possible argument with other soldiers that became the tipping point.
Investigators are looking over every detail of Ivan Lopez's life. They're hoping to find out why the Army specialist went on a shooting rampage at Fort Hood, Texas, killing 3 people and wounding 16 others.
There may have been a verbal altercation with another soldier or soldiers, and there's a strong possibility that in fact immediately preceded the shooting.
No one seemed to have seen this coming.
There wasn't anything unusual about him. You know, we were just neighbors. We were passerbys. We'd smile and wave at each other, and that's about it. The couple seemed like they were extremely happy.
Sergeant Alonzo Lunsford was shot 7 times in the 2009 shooting at Fort Hood. He says he felt disbelief and anger that something like this could happen again.
After our shooting, everyone or a lot of factors were saying, well, we need to do this, we need to do that. Well, a lot of those things has not been done to this point.
Among the dead, Sergeant Timothy Owens, his mother's worst fears confirmed in the hours after the shooting.
He didn't answer the phone, so I left a message on his phone. Son, call me so I know if you're okay or not. Well, never got no call from him. I thought, oh God, please don't let it be.
He was just a very honorable, individual. And like I say, I don't think he knew any strangers. Everybody that he met, I believe that Tim got along with them.
That was Polo Sandoval reporting. The investigation is still in its very early stages. We'll keep you posted on any new developments on the air and online at 10tv.com. Back here in Central Ohio, some good news for 17 Licking County dogs poisoned with antifreeze. Blue Ribbon Labradors reports those pups are showing signs of progress. Owners say it could still be a while, though, before the Licking County breeder knows the full effects of that poison. Investigators still have no leads on who tried to kill these dogs, but there is still a $1,000 reward for any information. Well, it has been almost a month since Flight 370 disappeared over the Indian Ocean. The new techniques search crews are now using as they race against the clock to find a black box. And strong storms hit from Texas to Minnesota, the conditions sending people running for cover. Mike?
I'll tell you what, the view has not been good looking from Skyview. It was a very foggy morning, lots of low-hanging clouds out there, so we've had some issues with visibility today. Meanwhile, as we look out right now, temperature in the low 60s. Still got some rain on the camera lens. Winds are going to pick up right now out of the southeast at 16. Temperatures will go up a little bit more, then they're going to plummet as those winds come in. We'll talk about all the alerts in effect the rest of the day and have a preview of your weekend weather. All coming up next.
You're watching 10 TV News at noon with Tracy Townsend and meteorologist Mike Davis with live Doppler 10 radar.
Right now, the search for a missing Malaysian airliner has moved from the air to under the water. The U.S. Navy is testing the buoyancy of its ping finder device, which will search the seafloor for Flight 370. The hope is to find the plane's black box before batteries die out in the next few days. Back here stateside, we now know what caused the blaze that killed 2 Boston firefighters. Boston police and fire officials say sparks from a welding operation started that fire. Firefighters Michael Kennedy and Lieutenant Edward Walsh both died when they became trapped in the basement of that apartment last week. Thousands of firefighters from across the country attended their funeral this past week. Former Formula One star Michael Schumacher's manager says the professional driver is now showing moments of consciousness and awakening. Schumacher has been in a coma for more than 3 months. He fell while skiing in France and hit the right side of his head on a rock, cracking his helmet. He's been slowly waking up from a drug-induced coma since January. Well, hail pounds the south while wicked winds and storms roll through the Midwest. More on the damage next. Plus, making a promise to stay alive this prom season. How thousands of students are taking that pledge. Mike?
Weather-wise, you know what? The rain is moving off little by little, but we got a different issue this afternoon as the winds kick up. Let's look out with our weather bug. You know what? That's about the best the sky has looked so far. Clouds have actually lifted a little bit because we had a whole bunch of fog here this morning. Also quite a bit of rain, more than an inch here in the last 24 hours. In some areas, almost 3 inches in the last 48. Here's a look at Bucyrus. A little drier up there, but the clouds continue to roll in. And the temperatures, mix of 50s and 60s here at noon. But tell you what, that's about to change. I'll have your weekend forecast straight ahead.
New at noon, 6,000 high schoolers from Southeast Ohio took a pledge this morning to make better choices on prom night. Students posted photos on Twitter soon after signing the prom pledge Impact at OU's Convocation Center. Impact 2014 also gave each student something to remind them to always think responsibly. And check out this drone video of the prom pledge that we found on YouTube. It was a powerful morning as students heard from a young man who drove home drunk after spring break but crashed his car, killing 3 friends. Well, distracted driving was also the focus for hundreds of students who took part in this mock crash this morning. These are some photos just sent to us from the Pickaway Ross Career and Technical Center. They hold this event every year, even in the rain, which gives students a real-life view of what happens when you make one bad decision. 10 TV, of course, is committed to raising awareness about distracted driving. We have a special page on our website. Just go to 10tv.com/Maria's Message. Well, now at noon, violent weather left behind widespread damage all across the Midwest and even more in the South. Reporter Andrea Lucia shows us how hail as big as baseballs sent students in Texas running for cover.
Tornado sirens sounded and a funnel cloud formed on the horizon.
I don't know what to do. I've never been in a storm like this. I'm not from here.
People ran for cover, ducking inside this Denton Walmart. Moments later, the storm struck, littering the ground with hailstones.
It was a little terrifying, not gonna lie to nobody.
Chris Ismail took shelter in an auto shop.
The hail was coming into the building and it was circling in the building. I've never seen anything like it before.
At the Walmart, customers say they were ushered to the back of the store.
The hail was, I bet you it was this big around.
The ice punched holes through 200 skylights overhead.
There was hail coming through the top of the store. I mean, it was falling everywhere.
As the rain moved east, drivers along Highway 380 pulled over and caught a menacing show.
There looked to be like this massive cloud. It was getting bigger and bigger.
Did it catch you by surprise?
Yeah. I cleaned the glass off of.
Haley Ledford was caught out in the open.
By the time I looked back, my whole back windshield was already out.
Her only consolation, knowing her children were out of harm's way.
God's blessed me today because my kids weren't with me. They would have been sitting on my back seat where all that glass is.
Well, it seems like we are dealing with just about everything except the hail here in Central Ohio. A lot of alerts we've got here, Mike.
Yeah, you know what? There was potential last night. We actually had that slight risk for severe weather. That went away this morning. So we didn't see any severe storms, but we had fog, we had rain, and we've had flooding really all across the state on a pretty dreary Friday so far. As you look at things, we've got local flood warnings up in Marion County and also up in Hancock County. Those are typical. Also up in Holmes County this morning or this afternoon. So just a few lingering ones. The flash flood warnings in the south are gone. However, there's still a flash flood watch for the southeast, Vinton and Jackson counties through Lawrence, Gallia, Meigs, and into Athens County for that potential for quickly rising water levels. As you look at the central part of the state, flood watch is still there. The rain isn't quite gone yet. That could be lifted this afternoon, but a lot of standing water out there. And when you see it on the roads, do not drive into it. Here's live Doppler 10 radar. The rain continues to edge further off to the east. This is the back side of it here, though. There's still a couple of sprinkles off to the west, so there's still a chance for a shower, although that's diminishing this afternoon. So most of the rain for us is done. May not be all good news. The winds are going to kick up as a very strong area of low pressure goes across the Great Lakes, and temperatures will actually begin to tumble as that cold front passes this afternoon. So here's the next issue. We've got a wind advisory starting at 1 o'clock here, 2 o'clock off to the north. So it covers Licking County, Delaware County, Franklin County, and points back to the west. Going to see 30, 35 mile an hour winds and maybe gusts as high as 40 to 50 as this thing kind of roars on past us this afternoon. And that goes all the way till 9 o'clock here until 11 o'clock off to our north. In the meantime, although it's gray, it's mild. We may eke out a couple of more degrees. Low 60s right now with southeast winds at 16. Humidity down to 90%. Central Ohio readings a mix of 50s and 60s. That's pretty good. The morning, it was in the 30s in Toledo and also at Findlay. It was 38 degrees in Findlay. Now it's kind of caught up with everybody else as the warm air has gotten to the north. Now cooler air is going to come in from the west. We'll quickly see temperatures drop this afternoon. 60 at 3, hanging in there. Low 50s at 6, and by 9 we're in the 40s with northwest winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. Now, we won't at least get this. They're still having snowstorms like back in Minnesota, a big late season storm even for them. For us, the rain is moving off. We'll see not clearing, but quieting skies this afternoon. But again, remember those gusty winds and overnight tonight scattered clouds. And the model tries to late work in a hint maybe of a few flurries off to the north tomorrow morning. We shouldn't deal with that. Skies should brighten up rather nicely as we go into the day tomorrow. Now, I'll warn you, it's going to be a lot cooler tomorrow morning, mid-30s, but no commute tomorrow morning. It stays kind of cloudy. And then tomorrow it brightens up. We're looking for a high in the low 50s, which is a little below average and certainly below the last couple of days. It's still kind of breezy. Now by Sunday morning, we could drop below freezing. A low of about 31, a high seasonable at 59. Monday brings another chance for showers, again about 59, much milder in the morning. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, overall not looking bad. Partly to mostly sunny. Daytime highs in the 50s and morning lows are going to be down in the 30s. Well, you know what? You can track storms moving through central Ohio with our live Doppler 10 interactive radar.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You've got all the network of cameras on there, so something people will definitely want at least through today.
Absolutely. Brand new 10 TV app, too, is out there, so sign up for it.
Well, listen to this. A rush hour rescue for 2 farm animals.
Wow, the utter chaos on the freeway was all caught on camera. Check it out.
What's going on the freeway? Stop the cars!
Cows on the loose. Look out. The pair escaped from a makeshift trailer. Well, of course they're going to escape from